Hello everyone, my name is Ashwini. Today I'll be talking about overloading in C++. We will explore what overloading is, why it's used, and see how both function overloading and operator overloading work with examples. Introduction of overloading. In C++, overloading allows us to use the same name to perform different tasks. This makes code more readable and reusable. The two main forms are function overloading and operator overloading. Now let's see function overloading. Function overloading means having multiple functions with the same name but different parameters. The compiler identifies which one to call based on the number, type, or order of arguments. Let's see example for function overloading. Here we have three add functions. One works with integers, another with doubles, and one handles three integers. The compiler automatically selects the correct version when the function is called. Now let's move on to the operator overloading. Operator overloading lets us redefine how operators like plus or minus work for user defined types such as classes. This makes object behave in a more natural way when we perform operations. Let's see example for operator overloading. In this example, we overload the plus operator for a complex class. Now, adding two complex numbers using the plus symbol becomes natural, just like adding normal numbers. In C++, there are few important rules for overloading. For function overloading, the parameter list must differ. For operator overloading, some operators like scope resolution and size of cannot be overloaded. Also, at least one operand must be user-defined type. And remember, return type alone cannot differentiate overloaded functions. Okay, let's see advantages of overloading. Overloading improves readability and reusability, makes code more natural, and provides polymorphism, one of the important feature of object-oriented programming. Okay, let's see a sample program. We begin by including header files. iostream.h is used for input and output functions like cout and cin, and conio.h is used for clear screen and getch in Turbo C++. Here we define a class called complex to represent complex numbers. It has two integer data members, real and image. This is a default constructor that initializes real and imaginary parts to 0. This is a parameterized constructor that sets the value of real and imaginary parts when the object is created. Here we overload the plus operator for complex numbers. This function adds the real part of the one object to the other and also adds the imaginary parts. The result is stored in a temporary object which is then returned. Display function displays the complex number in the form of real plus imaginary I. Closed braces with semicolon defines the completion of the complex class definition. Now we define a function named add that takes two integers and return their sum. This is the first version of our overloaded function. This is the second version of the add function, which takes two double values and their sums. This is the third version of add, which takes three integers and then return their sum. This demonstrates function overloading because all three functions have the same name but different parameter list. Now we start the main function. Clear screen clears the screen. We display a heading for function overloading examples. Here we call add with two integers 5 and 10. It calls the first version and display the result as 15. Now we call add with two double values 5.5 and 2.5. This calls the second version and returns 8. Here we call add with three integers 1, 2 and 3. This calls the third version and gives the result 6. Now we print a heading for operator overloading. We create three objects of a complex class. C1 is initialized to 3 plus 4. I, C2 is
2 plus 5i, and C3 is a empty complex number. Here we use the overloaded plus operator. It automatically calls our operator function and adds C1 and C2. The result is stored in C3. We print C1, which is 3 plus 4i. We print C2, which is 2 plus 5i. Finally, we print C1 plus C2, which is 5 plus 9i, showing the result of operator overloading. We use getch to wait for a key press before closing the program. This completes our demonstration of function overloading and operator overloading in C++.
Thank you all.